My name is Jerry SVENDSEN. I was hired as the public relations representative in 1961 and eventually became the director of public relations and eventually became the vice president of public relations in Sun City and was actively working in Sun City for 20 years. Driving along, listening to the radio, and all of a sudden a jingle came up, and I listened to it, and I learned it because it was such a cute and clever advertisement for the Webb Corporation. Wake up and live in Sun City for an active new way of life. Wake up and live in Sun City, Mr. Senior Citizen and wife. Don't let retirement get you down. Be happy in Sun City. It's a paradise town. So anyway, I know that song by heart. Didn't realize that it wouldn't be 2 years and I would be actually in Sun City, not living in Sun City at age 26, but going to work as their public relations representative. Okay, Sun Bowl was really, there was a lot of general activity. In other words, the Del Webb Company started in '66, we built it. And we had our first, it was the Luke Air Force Base Band. Senator Paul Fannin came to that opening, a grand opening of it. And boy, it took off. We were able to bring out the Phoenix Boys Choir, chorus, barbershoppers. We brought the Luke Air Force Base Band more than once. Lots of activities, and what people would do, this was grass terraced, so they would bring blankets or folding chairs, and they would come out and sit out, and under the lights in June or July, the weather was fine. It was not so hot that they had to stay away. And so the Webb Company used the Sun Bowl, but then finally, in 1966-67, we started to use that as a good promotional tool beyond making residents happy, but we felt that, hey, let's bring in some visitors along with the residents. And so we came up with a celebrity series where we had Jimmy Durante, Liberace, Fred Waring, and Roger Williams, the pianist, just some great entertainment every Sunday during the winter. And we would then put on a show, and after the show, and then I would invite them to another show. I usually introduce the program, and then at the end of the program, great time, wasn't it? Well, let's continue the goodness. Go down and see our model home show, and I'd tell them the directions, and then they'd go out. So it was a great promotion for Sun City, for the Del Webb Company, and everybody was having a good time. It was John Meeker. John Meeker called me into the office and he said, Jerry, what do you think of this whole idea of doing a celebrity series? So I think it's a great idea. Great, then you go out and do it, Jerry. And I said, really? So he wanted me to, he said, you're our marketing guy, not advertising, but you're going to be the face out there on the Sun Bowl stage. I would step out on the stage and there are 7,000 people, and it's one of those things where you start it and then you warm up and you feel fine. You feel like you belong. So plan on it and please hire some people. So I had to get into show business from that standpoint, hiring people, hiring a band to go along with Jimmy Durante so that he had something more than just a moment in time. It's got the whole world swooning. So that worked out really, really well for me because it did give me exposure. In fact, I probably was the best known person in Sun City because of the public speaking I did to clubs and organizations. My grandparents lived here in Sun City, and they always would come to the shows and sit up front with my wife and my kids, my two boys. The 3-year-old got in the act and one time. More than once, I think he was out on that apron getting some positive attention. Well, one of them was Patty Page is up on stage singing, with an orchestra back of her, and there she is.
remember.
And my son, I guess he must have been really interested in her singing. He walked out on the apron and looked up at the stage, and here's this little boy standing there looking, and she came down off the stage and she sang to him. And it was just, people just got the biggest kick out of seeing this little boy getting a song. You know, it was really neat. Another was when Fred Waring and his Pennsylvanians came to town. Well, that's a musical group, and they have a lot of sheet music, and they had all their sheet music in place, ready to go. A wind came in. It took all of the music, blew it 400 feet in the air, and sent it southeast. I walked out on the stage and I said, "Don't worry, everybody. The Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians will be at Grady Gamage Auditorium at Arizona State University tonight. The music's on its way." They have extra music though, everybody, and then they've set up the music. The Lions Clubs of Sun City were the ushers, the ticket takers, the ticket sellers. And the only way we could get 7,000 people in that Sun Bowl, we would rent chairs, two rows of chairs for each of the terraces. And the Lions would handle all of it, the ushering, as I say, everything. And it went smoothly. And we would pay them to do that. Well, I was lucky enough to have dinner out with some of these people, like Liberace. Rich Little, the comedian. Some of it, I only met them. They'd come into town, they'd land, somebody would pick them up, they'd come to the Sun Bowl. So I didn't get to know some of the people. But there were a lot of fun times with the entertainers. And for me, it was special. Because when I'd go over to the coast, Palo Verde Estates, Myra and Florin, the Lawrence Welk stars, they lived in those areas. And Jerry, come on over and see us when you're over here. So we stayed in Lawrence Welk's in the apartment, Lawrence Welk apartment, up at the top, looking out at the ocean. So I had some real bonuses and extras with my family in doing that. We had programs in what was called Town Hall, which then became Fairway Center, one of our recreation centers. So when we were doing things over there like Father's Day root beer busts or Mother's Day strawberry festivals, we were doing that in the Town Hall. The Sun Bowl was built. We had a strawberry festival out there. This was one of my favorite people, Myra and Florin of the Lawrence Welk Show. Myra and Florin, Bobby Burgess and Sissy King, the dancers, Guy and Rolna, the singers. There were a number of them that, Arthur Duncan, the tap dancer. I got to meet all these people because they came over to my home, and then I was invited to their homes in California. But yeah, this was us greeting each other. I didn't play the accordion, I didn't sing songs, although I guess I must have sung something with them because they said, "There I am singing." No, that was Mickey Finn. And Mickey Finn operated out of California, San Diego area, and the Mickey Finn group, very popular on the coast, and really their program, their singing, the material that they provided was very much for seniors. That's why I'm sure they came more than once. This is a very popular oh, that was me when I wore the contact lenses, but yeah. I could have been one of them, right? That's Myra and Florin reaching out to sign autographs. I was on stage, after a program, and so people were coming up onto the stage to get autographs, and so I was right there, and some fellow walked by me, and then he came back and he said, "Jerry," he said, "I might as well get your autograph. You were a part of this program." Thank you. So I signed it, but I didn't sign many autographs. They were busy with these people. See, is that Freddie Martin? Guy Lombardo. Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians, yes indeed. He was fun. Yeah, this was a hospital fundraiser for the, I'm not sure if it was for the Del Webb Hospital, maybe, but Bob Hope, Del Webb, and I emceed. This is where I told a joke that didn't go over so big, and I said, don't worry everybody, the evening isn't hopeless. And hopeless being Bob Hope would come up and he would tell the jokes, and that kind of went over like a lead balloon, but Bob Hope, he had a smile on his face. That was maybe Del Webb had a good smile on his face. But yeah, I emceed that. I basically started the program, and I'm not sure I even introduced Del Webb. I remember introducing this guy, but so yes, we had about probably 700 or 800 people at that banquet at the hotel, the Del Webb Hotel here in Phoenix. The only time I remember really Del Webb and I getting together was I was out at the Phoenix Open, and Lawrence Welk and Del Webb were teeing off with a couple of the pros, and Del Webb looked over and he kind of did this, and Lawrence Welk looked over and he walked over to me, because Del Webb wouldn't have walked over to me, but Lawrence Welk knew me from the Sun Bowl, so he walked over and we shook hands and talked, and people were looking, how do you know him? We got this from Meeker, but I know that Del Webb said this: concrete, steel, and lumber build the buildings. It's people who make the community. And that was a recognition that from Meeker and from Del Webb, that it was definitely the residents of our community, those first 15 years of being involved in our lives and being involved with us. And I said unity. There's unity in Sun City. If you looked at the UN and the ITY, there's actually the word unity, and that's why Sun City was so successful. We weren't married, but boy, we could have been. We loved each other, and that's why I feel so close to the community that we once had.